Super excited to have you here.
I'm pleased to be here. My buddy Will Allred said that this show was fun to do, and that we might just have opportunities. And I said, "Oh my gosh, I got to reach out." So I appreciate you having me. And Will told me that you would treat me kindly. So
I
there's
will. I will. Well, Will actually podcasts for our network
that
and
with his
Quantum Zone.
yeah, gosh, he just told me about that 3 weeks ago, and I was like, "Oh, that is a lot to talk about." With it's Quasar, right?
Yeah, it's Quasar, and they're on episode like 148 or something. Like it's crazy. I didn't think you could talk that much about Quasar, but he's found a way.
God,
So yeah,
God bless us, everyone.
so I interviewed Will for his Kickstarter, Crossover Division, and he mentioned Tart in that conversation, and he said, his is ending before mine. You got to contact my buddy Kevin and get Tart on, which of course I'm like, yeah, of course. We want to draw attention. We're going to talk about Tart in a second. I'm going to do a little spoiler. Tart looks incredible. Okay, so that aside, that's a spoiler.
Yeah.
So tell us about yourself. What's your background?
Well, I am the writer and co-writer of Tart. In my indie comics, that's the biggest thing that's caught on. I've done a couple other little things here and there. We did Morte for Source Point Press, and I've got a couple other books. But in my real life, my pay the mortgage job. I run an office for my brother's construction company, and raising a pretty awesome 12-year-old, and just trying to figure out what my life is like in these new and interesting times.
Yes, yes. I think we're all there. So I share your, I don't want to say pain, I share your experience. We'll go with
Yes,
that.
it's an adventure.
It's an
It's an
adventure.
adventure.
Yeah, when I saw what Tart was, I wasn't aware of Tart. As soon as I saw it, here's what I read, and you know what I'm going to say because you've obviously written it. But Tart, Demons, Devils, and Demagogues. The supernatural band of time travelers face Hitler and the Crown Prince of Hell in 52 pages of brand new fantasy comic adventure. You had me all the way back at Time Traveler, and then you just kept adding things to it that made me go, how do I not know about this? This is awesome.
You know what? I appreciate the fact that we're still able to reach people and let people know that we exist. And now we can say, hey, we've got 12 issues done. So you can,
Yeah.
this is not just a bite-sized portion. We always call issue one an appetizer. Well, you
Yeah.
can get a full meal now because we've got 12 issues done.
Yeah, that's a complete meal right there. So tell me, what is this project? Is it a graphic novel? Is it the collection of 12? What is the project for?
The project will print 2 new single floppy issues of the Tart series, issues 11 and 12. But because we have so many of the Tart Volume 1 trade paperback, issues 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, we can actually deliver first edition copies to, I think I counted up, I can do it to 200 people. So
Oh, wow.
we've still got enough that you can catch up on the entire series. But technically printing issues 11 and 12.
So that's what this project is for. Fantastic.
Mhm.
I always like to be clear because people have that question all the time. And I'm sure you'll be back then to do a massive collection of all this when we do the next Kickstarter for that.
We luckily we have got a spot with Scout Comics, and
great.
they take the books now and collect them for comic shops. So the big collections are probably going to be done with Scout. I don't want to kind of ask people to buy a collection from me and then ask them to buy it from their comic shop.
Sure.
But we're certainly always talking to them about the best way to synergize the properties. And the great thing about Scout is they let us pay for the creation of the issues with Kickstarters and Patreons, et cetera. So we're, if it weren't for being able to do both, we would be severely slowed down. But this allows us to try to crank these books out and get on a rhythmic schedule. I'm not going to say we're going to ever be doing 10 issues a year. That's unfair to Ludo's hand, but we're going to try to get 4 to 6 out a year starting from now.
Fantastic. Yeah, your goal is, and we're getting this kind of late in the game, which is okay. This has happened on other shows. You've got 9 days to go as of recording. So when this hits people's feeds, it'll probably be 8 days to go.
Mhm.
But at this moment, your goal is $4,000, and you're at $9,395. So you hit your goal. Congratulations. Woo, I'm calling that a success.
A
But
huge success, and we're extremely happy with that.
so,
But
yes, I was going to say, I'm sure we go above and beyond with that. So do you want to talk about the tiers, or do you want to talk about some of your stretch goals first?
you know what? Let's do the tiers first, so we can talk about what people could actually get out of it, and then we'll talk about how we're going to try to make those better. I already sort of hinted at the catch-up tier. That's the one that I'm most interested in new readers knowing about. Either the digital catch-up, where you get all 12 issues for $13 in PDF form, or the physical one where I'll be able to send you all 12 issues for $65. It's basically cover price and media mail. So you can catch up immediately on the thing. So that's the one I'm really excited about for new readers.
Yeah, actually, as somebody who supports these and somebody who's a comic reader, those are the two that I looked at immediately and went, yeah, you at least got to be on the catch-up tier. That's at least where you want to hit, because it's going to get you up to speed. And I'm telling you, once people get a load of the artwork and get a load of what this story is, they're going to be all in.
Oh, that's exciting. And for international, I don't know if you have a big international audience, but shipping is pretty crazy right now. So if you want to do the digital, read it, you can then go to your comic shop and say, hey, can you order the Scout Comics collection of Tart 1 through 7? You can get the books without paying shipping. I want people to read our book.
Right.
I kind of don't care how you read it. It's always great for me when money comes in, because that helps us pay for the next issue. I'm not going to pretend we're not out to bring funding in, but really we're about building an audience. So
Right.
yeah, the digital tier, if you're outside of the States and you don't want to pay $30 to ship the comics, I understand. Do that, and then get to your comic shop and make them pay the shipping to get Tart your way.
Exactly. We were overseas 2 years ago, and I went into some amazing comic shops, and I can see this absolutely on their shelves. So if they don't have it, encourage them.
Absolutely. We do shockingly well in Australia and New Zealand. I don't know why, but God bless both of those countries for really supporting us.
When we started our podcast network, we were doing great in America.
Mhm.
And for some reason, it was like the Philippines and one little tiny country over in like the Eastern Bloc. And like the bulk of our downloads were from those two places and then America. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't even have a theory on it. Like I had theories and they're gone.
Okay.
So yeah, who knows? But you reached an audience. That's what matters, right?
Yep, exactly.
So, okay, we've got the catch-up tiers. What else have you got?
We love doing these. We've got an enamel pen that we are coming out with. We've done 4 already in our history, but we held on to Tart Acid, our lead character, until we felt like we had a milestone that we wanted to hit. And since issue 12 is truthfully the end of the beginning of our series, we think of this as a beginning, a middle, and an end for Tart, and it should go about 27 issues ish. Issue 12 is the end of the beginning, and technically the end of season 2 of the way Scout talks about it. So we were like, let's get Tart out there and let's get the real pen. So for $35, you can get the 2 issues of Tart and the enamel pen, and that's kind of exciting for us. And of course, Ludovic's original art is always a huge thing for us, because he's so inventive and so original, and he's drawing
Yeah.
all of the Toxic Girls and different areas, different times, different outfits, and it's just really fun pieces of art, and they are in my possession. So there is going to be no waiting for artwork coming from France. It's when the books get here, your artwork gets slipped in with your books and sent out immediately.
Wow. Yeah, when I was looking through the actual digital issue, uh, Ludo's art is so striking. It is so fantastic. And what it was tweaking for me is because I love indie comics, right?
Mhm.
And I love to see different styles. And I do like that some of the bigger uh, brands now are reaching out and getting some different, styles out there. So it's not like, oh, we've seen them look like this a million times.
Right.
But when I saw Ludo's art, it immediately took me back to all that cool stuff that was coming out of like heavy metal, and like the era where you were getting this really interesting, detailed yet cartoonish artwork that doesn't look like typical superheroes. You know what I mean? Like
Definitely.
it really pulled me in. And your colorist is also fantastic. Like everything about it is just beautiful. It's really, really worth your time. And come on, you're time traveling, you're fighting Hitler. Come on. Come on.
I mean, Ludo is a beast. I want to make sure everybody knows that this is a co-creation between myself and Ludo. Uh, he speaks English as a second language, so he doesn't like doing podcasts in English because he halts and searches for words. But this is our baby, not just because everybody hears my voice and sees my name. It's not my baby. It's
Right.
Ludo's and my baby. And
Right.
I know who the star of the team is, whether he does or not, and I'm very happy to give him those props.
Well, his artwork is astounding, but don't sell yourself short. This is a great story. It's such a great book. So, okay. So there's another tier that I wanted to bring up because you've got some of the typical tiers which are great, like uh, varied covers and things like that. But at the is it the $150 one
I think that's
where
the
we get
original art.
some of Ludo's original art?
Yes.
Wow. Wow, what you have pictured on this Kickstarter is worth it right there. Anybody that is used to going to Comic Cons, going to Artist Alley, and getting original stuff, this is what you're looking for.
Hmm.
And that price point is what you're looking for. Yet you're supporting the book. You're getting all this extra stuff. You're getting that pin that is so cool. I mean, this is a killer level, Kevin. You've really outdone yourself.
No, I appreciate that. What we did, our last Kickstarter was in, I think, in March or April. And at that point, we really were worried that the post office might disappear. I think that worry's mostly gone away, although not completely. And we thought, I don't know how we're going to get art from France to me and then art to other backers. So when we
Right.
got, I think we had like 25 people bid for original art. Well, I said, please make 40. And what we're using is those 17 pieces of art that didn't go out. We've left them, so they're all here, which is great. When you do original art, you always have the worry that something could come up and it might take a little bit longer. But in this case, the art's sitting here waiting for a new home, and I'm happy to hold on to it here as long as it's in my possession. It's sort of mine, but I'm also happier to spread it out to our readers too.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, let's talk about stretch goals because you're obviously in that territory.
Yes.
Uh, you know what? I usually talk about this. I'm just going to say it. Obviously, there's no risk.
No.
You've already gone above and beyond. This is all happening. You're getting your stuff. It's a done deal. So let's talk about these stretch goals. What have you got?
Well, the stretch goals that we've already hit is we've already increased the weight of the paper, interior paper, and the cover count paper, which, I mean, it's really inside baseball to talk about this, but it's the difference between holding a comic book and feeling it like it's a pristine piece of work or a floppy book in your hands. And the
Right.
reading experience is similar, but there is something to holding a 130 count cover in your hands compared to an 80-pound cover. It's a whole different thing. And I don't want to knock any publishers that have been doing it for 80 years and are worth billions when my company's, teeny, but our books feel more prestige than if you picked up the newest X-Men and it kind of flips over in your hand. But that's
Right.
not me, that's our backers.
Right.
Um,
They made it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. We have. I'm trying to think because we hit them and then I announced them and now I'm I apologize. I'm blanking on what they were.
Do you know what the next one is that you have to hit?
When we hit 10,000, we are going to give our editor and our letterer a bonus,
Nice.
because they, we pay them for their work, but we're not a big conglomerate, and we can't pay them what they're worth.
Sure.
But if any of our Kickstarters get near that break-even point, we try to say thank you. And we looked at the calendar and we said, well, this will be right before Christmas. We definitely want to hit this one.
Okay, they're gonna get it, because you're at 9,395 already. I won't tell. What about the tier after that? Do you have something planned?
The most likely tier after that I will double up the enamel pen.
Cool.
And instead of sending one pen with Tart acid, I'll send two. And the reason I will do that is at that point, I'll be able to buy double the amount of pens for almost cheaper than what I'm buying and what was in our goal. So I feel like if you've given me the ability to not have 100 pens in my possession, but to have 500 pens, you no longer should be paying $10 for a pen. You should be paying $10 for two pens. The math works out to where I can offer it to the people who gave me the ability to purchase more and therefore drive my costs per pen down. Now, in the future, will I sell that one pen for $10 or $15? You bet I will.
Right. But this is a Kickstarter. These are perks.
Right.
They're getting that early support, so that makes sense.
That's a very, very likely next stretch goal.
Sure. Excellent. Now, you had told me something. I'm going to force your hand here. You told me something about a potential spoiler. And if this gets out before you reveal it to the world, it's our world exclusive. If not, hey, it's still an exclusive that people want to hear about. What's going on with Crossover Division?
Well, with a name like Crossover Division, don't you think characters need to cross over? I mean,
it makes sense.
Will is really one of the nicest people in indie comics, maybe just one of the nicest people. You can take the indie comics out and you probably have it. And we were talking, we knew we were going about the same time. My series is about a group of time travelers that protect reality from demons who bounce around time, causing trouble. His series is about magical librarians that protect reality from fictional worlds that cross over. And we're like, well, I mean, we at least have 2 feet in the same sandbox. We might be on separate sides of the sandbox, but we're in the same sandbox.
You're in the same sandbox, right.
And so we thought, you know what? My readers will probably like Crossover Division. Crossover Division readers will probably like Tart. So we commissioned our buddies, Kyle Roberts and Ryan Groboth, to do a jam piece art print. And it's going to have Tart and the 2 lead characters of Crossover Division fighting a Minotaur.
Oh, you had me at hello. Yeah, that sounds awesome. So that is something that's getting revealed in the next couple of days. We'll see if we got it out there before you did. It's a race, Kevin.
And the art is so great that I kind of want to write a 4-page intro to it and let Will write a 4-page ending and maybe have an 8-page short, because Kyle did the line art on it, and we sent. I thought, what if they were fighting Frankenstein? I thought that would be fun.
Yeah.
And I said, maybe Tart could be trying to take one of the bolts out of his neck. And he goes, yeah, but I kind of want to draw a Minotaur. Well, when an artist tells you, I want to draw a blank, you just say, go for it.
Because you do it.
Yes. I mean, he's excited about it. This Minotaur is the coolest looking beast. I mean, I've seen in a long time. And I work with Ludovic Soleil. So,
right.
That is a compliment.
That's a compliment. Right. Yeah, the episode, either the one before this one or the one before that, we talked about Cthulhu Invades Oz. And that's another one. The crossovers there. I'm like, you've got so much potential for crossovers, especially with the project you're doing. These are just really exciting works, and the talent behind these projects is crazy good.
Oh yeah,
crazy good.
Travis brought in a ton of great artists and writers into
Yeah.
that Cthulhu Invades Oz. He actually talked to me about it, and I had to laugh. I may be the only indie writer who grew up on Poe, not Lovecraft. So like, I I I mean, I know Cthulhu exists, but that's about all I know. So I
Yeah.
was like,
Right.
I don't have time to research all of Lovecraft. It sounds like a great project. Thank you for contacting me, but I'm not going to weigh you guys down by not knowing one of the two crossover elements. So I did sidestep that one, but only out of my own ignorance, not my own want to, because that seems like a really cool project to be part of.
You know what? I'm sure there'll be more volumes. You'll have your day.
Yes.
For sure. All right, Kevin. So let's see. What haven't we talked about? First of all, give some social media so people know where to contact you and check out your stuff.
I'm most active on Twitter. It's Kevin Joseph CMX. I believe my Instagram, and I'm the least active on Instagram, is the same thing, Kevin Joseph CMX. And then if you want the Tart Facebook page, facebook.com/Tart official.
Great. And I will put all of this in the show notes. So people that are auditory, they just heard where to go. People that are visual, they'll have the links they can go directly to. And I'll also put the link to the Kickstarter. You need to back this project. Yes, it's hit its goal. That's not the point. The point is this is a great project that the more money goes into it, the more support, the more you can grow this thing.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
go further. And I mean, I'm super excited about this project. I'm encouraging everybody to get out on this. And another thing that I say it every time, I'm going to say it here, and I know you're going to agree with me. Another thing that helps, I mean, even a buck helps. It really, really, truly does. But the other thing that helps is share this on your social media. Share this episode, share links to the Kickstarter, tell your friends, tell your family, because you don't know who's going to look at this. The way I looked at it when Will said, hey, here's this Tart comic, and I read that first thing about, time travelers facing Hitler and the Crown Prince of Hell, and I went, oh my God. I'm sure you've got people in your friends list that would be lit up by that would want to support this. So definitely share it and spread the word.
Absolutely. And anything, we totally understand that. I hinted that it's a strange time in history. I really want you to help us, fund us, but like if you've been hit and this is, some people are out of work, we don't want you to fund us right now if you are hurting.
Right.
But on the Kickstarter page, there's a link you can go, and there's a way to read all 10 issues of Tart for free digitally. We want funding, but we don't want anybody to step out of their comfort zone and where they are right now.
Yeah.
And I've always said that as long as Scout lets me keep it up and the pandemic is happening, they will stay up there for free. Now, I don't have control of when I'm told to take them down, and I would love to be able to take it down next March because the pandemic's over. But, yes, we're all in this together. I want readers first,
right,
and funding second, because I'm not doing this out of the goodness of my heart. I'm the guy on the playground giving out pills for free because I think if you read it,
what an analogy.
I think you're going to get addicted. So
I think so too.
I'm trying to get you addicted one way or the other. Let's put it that way.
All right, Kevin, that's awesome. Thank you so much for being on. Success with this one. I can't wait to talk to you about whatever the next one is. So you let me know when that one happens, and we won't wait until 9 days until it's over. We'll hit it early that next time.
Rob, that sounds great to me.
Thanks, Kevin.